Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mixtape Show. We're kind of semi on location today.
Word up.
Here with my brother TekForce in the building, man.
Yes, sir.
What's good, man? Chilling, man. How you?
You good?
Man, yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You're the Casa de la TekForce.
Yeah, man. We got the Child of the 80s album dropping really, really soon.
Yes, sir. With the Light Cycle Entertainment T-shirt because I'm always about branding.
There you go. There you go.
Light Cycle cereal coming soon.
So we yeah, you was eating that cereal. That's it right there. Last time we was around each other was Atlanta. He was recording some joints off the project.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some dope records we've been spinning here. Watching was one of the joints.
Yes, sir.
You did the little Child of the 80s intro out there.
Yeah.
You did the joint with my man Jay Waiters.
Oh man, shout out to Jay Waiters.
Yeah, man.
It was dope. It was dope.
Yeah. So where we at right now, man? We got the like I said, Child of the 80s coming soon. I know you kind of had Corona kind of kicked everybody in the ass a little bit and reset some things. So what about you, man? Same thing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just like everybody else, dude, trying to stay safe and staying in the house, wearing my mask, and you know, maybe not at this moment, but wear your mask.
Yeah, wear your mask.
But we've been just kind of monitoring everything. You know, this week has been kind of a crazy week with the election and Corona. It's like, you know, it's I don't want to say unprecedented time because everybody says that.
Yeah.
But it's just a really weird time.
Yeah.
So just, you know, trying to get through it.
We are definitely in a weird space.
Yeah.
And it seems like in every aspect of life right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From elections.
Yeah.
Hopefully when this airs, we finally know who the president is at this point.
Or, you know, 2 months from now, depending on how they want to stretch this shit out.
The music industry is in a weird space right now. People's personal lives in a weird space right now.
Yeah. So
with you being a creative, how do you channel all of this and turn this into something positive right now?
One thing that you have to, and this is something I've been taught over the years by our mutual mentor, friend, T-Rex, Lewis Gray, is how to not focus on what's going on around you, but focus on the things that you're supposed to do to kind of better yourself.
Yeah.
You can't control the election. Did you go vote? You did everything you possibly can do to control that.
Yeah.
Did you go to work? You know, did you make money? Did you try to help someone? Did you try to do something different to change your life? Did you study for that test or the certification that you want to get?
Yeah.
What are you doing to improve your life while the world does what it does? I take the same approach to my music, right? Child of the 80s is a really special and important project for me. It's something I've wanted to do for the last several years. And it's so funny that I started ramping up the project as the world started crumbling a bit. But that's kind of, what time hasn't there been in life when people put out impactful albums during the Vietnam War, World War II, the Civil Rights Movement? Some of the best music was made at that time that reflected the times but also had its own voice. So this ain't nothing new. This is our time to keep growing. Like I just I heard the new Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Man, you talk about inspiration.
Yeah.
It had everything on it. And I want Child of the 80s to kind of have a reflection of that. Like, there'll be fun tracks. There'll be tracks that talk about me and relationships. There's tracks that are just delving into different topics. And I wanted to be a well-rounded album. And I'm actually going to do a remix for Unify. You mentioned that before. A remix will be on the album.
Okay.
I've got... It's so funny. I've already made like the beat for it.
Yeah.
But I think I'm scrapping that one and I'm actually doing another beat for it. But anyway, for the project, there'll be a remix to Unify. The original track will be on there.
Okay.
But to me, I wasn't gonna put it on that album. But man, you gotta have everything on your body of work.
Yeah. I was gonna say that too. The times that's going on now, does that kind of change the direction a little bit of Child of the 80s?
So what it did is help.
Okay.
So I'm keeping the tracks I got because I don't feel like you should change your body of work because the world changes. Because people need to see all sides of you.
Yeah.
The fun side, the father side, the depressed side, the relationship side, but also talk about we're in a unique position, man. We're people of color.
Yeah.
In the 21st century, in 2020. Right now, when all of this is going on, so if you don't talk about this on your albums, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing your audience a disservice.
Yeah. Would you say that Child of the 80s is going to be, and not in a way where you're going to hang it up, but would this be like your legacy project? You know what I'm saying? Your passion project?
It's funny you talk about that. I think I've talked with several people about it being one of my last albums. Hell, I haven't done like 25 albums. I've only realistically done 4 vocal albums, but I did that much later in my, MC life.
Yeah.
Child of the 80s will probably wrap up something that I've wanted to do for a while. And I got ideas for 2 albums. So after this, I'm going to finally do my Robotech album I've been wanting to do.
Okay.
But in the same process, I'm going to do Server Crash Part 2, and that probably will be the last TekForce album. As I move more into just hopefully a production, artist development, and things kind of helping the younger generation. And we'll see, man. Hell, I might slip in an album or a track or 2, but I feel like for me, I wanted to do the things for me to prove to myself. And tech support, when I recorded that, man, I got a lot of my gamer nerdy shit out. And I did subsequent songs with other people where I got more of it out. So the more music I've done, I've checked off that list.
Yeah. I'm going to call BS on that. I'm not going to do no more vocal albums because you're a writer, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're an MC and you observed life. So I can't see you stop observing life and not writing something down and putting out, even if it's like a little EP or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, you're right, man. How many people have said that in every genre of music?
I understand if you say you was a fighter and you boxing because, I don't want to get hit in the head no more. But as an MC, you can't give it up because, like I said, you live in life. You're a dad, you know what I'm saying? You may make an album for your daughter, strictly just for her, something like that. So I'm going to call BS on that. That's not happening.
Well, I mean, you're right because God, as an artist, we always find stuff to motivate us.
Yeah.
And you got people that said, I'm retiring next week, and they retire. I'm not doing another album. About 6 years later, it's going to be our last one. And they come out 6 years, another one. I think you never really stop in your art because there's always shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then, I see the signed artists and the commercial artists because they're dealing with contracts and stuff. So they kind of, they don't want to deal with that. So, you know what I'm saying? But you being in the independent ramp, you'll always, you still got progression to go. You know what I'm saying?
I do, man. It's funny you mentioned that because, hell, aligning myself with like you and Rex has been really important to me because we support each other and we provide ourselves with drive. And when I see good artists do stuff, it makes me want to do stuff. So who knows?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So let's talk about Light Cycle Entertainment, man.
Yes, sir.
The company is it's a, I don't know, is it a production company? It's not a label. It's a little bit of everything.
It's kind of it's
you know
kind
what I'm
of all right. It's all encompassed, right? So it's a label because I put out my music on Light Cycle. It's also a production company because I produce several artists under the Light Cycle label. But as a whole, it is what I like it to be, and therein lies how you want to grow. Is building other artists. So as I do things in the Light Cycle brand, I like to bring in folks that were like me. That maybe they want to talk about something nerdy or something that was close to their heart, and they didn't have a place to do it. I didn't, when I started out, man, I didn't have a lot of support behind me, and I was talking about things like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
And putting things in my lyrics that people were like, okay, why he ain't talking about shooting nobody? And
yeah.
why he ain't out there, trapping and all. Matter of fact, this is a little bit. It's about the time trapping came out when I started rapping.
Yeah.
But I want Life Cycle to grow in that, man, and I believe that I set the example for it. So, it's a one-man operation, but I have I have help from several friends and family.
Yeah.
Who support me, man, and I think when you got a grassroots development like that, eventually it's gonna get bigger.
Yeah, it's gonna get bigger. So, definitely.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we got the Child of the '80s joint that's gonna drop next year, next spring.
It's gonna. Well, I'm shooting for March.
Okay.
I will be doing some active recording in the next couple of months out here, possibly in Atlanta as well. Still writing music for it. I actually. I just started writing to a DuckTales inspired track. Okay. So kind of talking about the greed in the world and Uncle Scrooge and how much they relate to the I guess the divide we got, the financial divide, the poor and the wealthy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like poking fun at that, and it was directly inspired by stuff I seen in the news. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one thing that's cool, because in music, man, you can take subjects that people know and stuff and make it to where they see a different light on it, a different spin on it. Mm-hmm. So I'm having fun writing the album right now. I'm done with, probably 80% of the tracks. Okay.
All right. And production-wise, what do you want to do? What's some of your goals of things you want to do? Because I know you got a credit, production credit on somebody's YouTube page channel.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
How does somebody find a TekForce for something like that?
Shout out to Retro Days first. So Retro Days, it's funny you mentioned that, because that was at the start of this year, and that's back when we were saying, "Oh man, this year gonna be our year. Ain't nothing gonna stop us this year. This it.
This is it.
We're gonna make it." So it was January last year, man. Because I think I hit you up.
Yeah.
I told y'all about it like January 7th.
Yeah, that seemed like 7 years ago when that happened.
Right, when that happened, and then they hit me up and said, "Yo, I love your music. I saw." I think they saw Move. They saw Ode to the Retro. Uh-huh. How much, how much can we pay you for this? I said, oh, okay, well,
yeah.
Let's talk business. Uh-huh. So eventually we ended up, they commissioned me for the YouTube track, and they used it on their production, man, and it's great. Yeah. It's fantastic. That's my first YouTube credit.
Nice.
So for production-wise, if you want to get an ear for what I do, you can go listen to the Technically Beats album, Stage 1, which you've heard and listened to it, but it's got a lot kind of my range of what I can do. But that's what I like to build on. Yeah. It's just kind of not only doing the MC thing, but also being production for commercials and movies. Mm-hmm. I think everybody that does production and music, that's where you want to end up. Yeah. Because obviously we're not going to perform anytime soon. So unless it's in our apartments.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a creative, that's like you said, another avenue to be out there, because you may not be able to hit those stages. But you can still be in those venues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
So,
There was a group called The Midnight that's a synthwave group that I really like, and they held I think it was an at-home concert, and they sold out of their concert. But they got established fan base. Yeah. They charged like $16 a ticket. Mm-hmm. Had plenty of people watching. Yeah. So there is a way to do it if you. I guess if you do it right.
Yeah, and then, we I seen 2 Chainz is going to be doing a drive-through concert.
Word up.
Yeah, so they're gonna just like a drive-through movie theater, they're gonna do a drive-through concert where they have the cars in these certain little sections, and he'll have a stage and he'll perform. So it's gonna be a change. You know what I'm saying, as far as how we do this thing. So as long as we keep our chops ready, man, we're gonna be good to go.
Oh, we'll be all right, man. I think the world is always changing, and this ain't the first virus to hit this planet. It won't be the last. People had to change the way they've done things, over the course of man and course of time.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people say, hey, we're going to have a vaccine next year. You don't know that.
We don't know
you
that,
work for the CDC. You
exactly.
We got to keep moving and keep pushing, brother.
Yeah, we still trying to find a cure for the common cold. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we was talking about the Busta Rhymes album that just released. You know what I'm saying? It also seems like that this has been the year of some dope music dropping. We ain't the only ones in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Black Thought just released a really dope Streams of Consciousness 3.
Man, I hear a lot, and I haven't heard it yet.
You ever heard it? I gotta send that to you.
Arrested Development is dope.
Arrested Development is a dope one.
Yeah,
that's a classic album that we don't know about yet.
I finally, because I know you were talking about sending, but I saw it was on Spotify, so they got it on there. So I'm gonna take some time. But what you let me listen to,
yeah.
Shout out to Arrested Development.
Shout out to
Speech, man.
Yeah.
Speeches. Dope dude.
Nas dropped an album this year.
That produced by Hit Boy.
Hit Boy.
I think he produced
the whole album.
It was a whole?
He produced the whole album, yeah. Hit Boy, the Griselda crew, he produced the whole Benny the Butcher album. That's their highest charted album as a crew. It's been a lot of really dope hip hop this year. So when Child of the 80s drops, so we know that's going to be in the conversation, right?
I believe so, man. You know what's so crazy about Child of the 80s? I want it to be looked at as a body of work, but some elements of it, I don't know, are necessarily hip hop. I kind of borrow from everywhere.
Yeah.
On it. So I wanted it to have the sound of the 80s. So like there's a track on there called Just Stop. And, Just Stop is going to be straight up rolling 808.
Yeah.
Produced sitting in the studio with Marley Marl and the rest of them, but also got tracks that sound like Culture Club.
Yeah.
Was on it or Human League or something like that. So I wanted a well-rounded 80s album, but also got tracks on it that sound like they're right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. It's all over the place, but it's not. It seems like it makes sense. I wanted to be an evolution of TekForce because a lot of people think just because they heard tech support, just because they heard server crash, they know where I'm at, and they have no idea how deep that rabbit hole goes. So for me to say this is a traditionally all just hip hop album, I don't know. I mean, I guess you'll have to listen to it. Is hip hop prevalent? Absolutely. It's present throughout this whole album.
Yeah.
But the elements that I inject into it are from other sources.
Now you say it's not a traditional hip hop album, and I kind of gotta disagree a little bit because when disco was out, nobody thought that'd be hip hop. Yeah. But you listen to some songs now, they got the disco element in there.
That's true.
It's a hip hop album.
You're right. You're right.
Rock, same thing.
Yeah.
Little Richard's the father of rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? Some of those them riffs and the hi-hat, that's hip hop. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So don't put yourself in the box by saying it's not a traditional hip hop album because there's everything.
I guess you know what, you're right. I never thought about that, and it's good to talk with somebody with a different perspective. Yeah, because you're right. Because hip hop is everything. So just because it doesn't sound like this or that doesn't mean that it's not hip hop. So let me retract that. Let me say it's a traditionally hip hop album.
It's a traditional hip hop album with a lot of influences.
So that's great that you said that.
Yeah, man. So production wise, we know you know the legends that you're into, and even I know Odyssey is one of your favorite producers and artists.
Absolutely.
Who else is on your radar? Who do you like right now that you could think of that's kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, I love what Swizz is doing recently. I love what Swizz is doing recently.
Yeah, his last project he released was pretty dope.
Yeah, he's been elevating himself but keeping it firmly rooted. I love what Premier did on the last Gangstar album. Obviously,
Yeah.
Hit Boy. I can't say I was privy to his catalog,
Yeah.
but that dude is dope.
Yeah, I think I shot you when I told you he did Niggas in Paris.
Yeah,
And he was like, "What?"
I had no idea Hit Boy did that.
Yeah,
like he been around for a minute,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So let me see, guys. Still on Comtrues. Comtrues is one of my favorite producers. Should I say? That's a guy that I love to work with one day. And truth be told, I believe this album will do well enough that the people who are not on my radar right now will be.
There you go. There you go. There you go, man.
Because I know my body of work. I know what I put into it. I know my talent. And everybody is 6 degrees of separation from each other. So
yeah.
Pete Rock, obviously. Rock has been doing it ill. I love Knots.
Yeah, Knots is dope.
I love that dude Knots. And Nicolay. So Nicolay, that guy is one of my all-time favorite producers because that guy, he's able to just do everything so damn well, like being classically taught. He's taught me a lot about how to add different elements in my music.
Yeah, yeah.
So Child of the 80s has a lot of synthesized kind of moments in there because I didn't want to just have beats, right? I wanted to have movements.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you're in there and you hear a bass line drop, there's also like an organ that brings that in too, to make you feel it. And I think that's what resonates with people is having those different elements. When you hear a song and it takes you somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. I call it that feel. When you
That
get that
feel.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you learn that you listen to other producers, but then you learn how to adapt that to yourself, man. And I think I hope I'm not being too long-winded,
No,
but I'm passionate about my project, man.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that when it is released after this long wait, people gonna feel it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I hear that, bro. Well, like I always tell you, man, as a hip hop head, man, you're truly a dope MC. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want you to lose that fact that you are a dope MC and you can bar it out here with some of the best of them, man. So, I remember playing your records around people, and they're like,
brother.
Who the fuck is this guy? You know what I'm saying? You know, because I like I said, you know me, man. I like to play the deep cuts and the album cuts. So whenever I throw a TekForce joint in the middle of a set, people are like, oh shit, who's that? You know what I'm saying? And so
I appreciate
you spit bars, bro. You got the bar work. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I come from the land of KRS-One and LL Cool J and Big Daddy Kane and Kool Moe D and OC and AZ and all these people who have taught me how when you go through a track, how you attack different tracks.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you growing up like us and you have so many, you got decades of dopeness, there's no reason that you should go out there and be whack at any point in time.
Exactly.
Because you've been taught how to do it. And if you don't understand, then go back and listen. There's bodies of work of people. Nas, if you want to learn how to write stories, engaging elements and paint pictures of how people can see your environment, go listen to Black Thought. Go listen to Nas. Go listen to Mobb Deep.
Shit, go listen to the joint that you got where you talk about you hate your job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
telling the story. You know what I mean?
Workplace woes.
Yeah.
Damn, that's funny.
Yeah.
So that's can I talk about it?
Go for it.
All right. So Workplace Woes, for y'all don't know, this on Tech Support, my first album, and there's 2 parts to it. The first one features my dude Johnny Moody. Shout out to you. But I was working at. I will do this just in case. Well, I'll do this because we're gonna keep the company name out. We're just gonna talk about it, just for legal purposes. But
you was at a spot.
I was at a spot, and I was unhappy, man. I worked in tech support there, of course, and it was a proprietary like system they had, and You want to talk about the bane of my existence? Was walking into that shit every day, dude. It felt like my soul was dying. I hated it. I hated my manager.
Uh-huh.
I kind of liked my coworkers.
Yeah.
But they could have left too.
Yeah.
I think there was somebody fine that worked there that made my day brighter because she was gorgeous. But other than that, man, I remember sitting damn near being in tears, and I was working there on a Sunday. On a Sunday. Every Sunday I had to work at that shit.
The worst.
And I said, you know what, I'm going to do something with this. And I wrote this song, Workplace Woes. And it just came out. And I have my dude, Bill Beats, has sent me the beat that he made. Talented producer from Washington. And sent me that beat, and I wrote to it, dude, and all that pain came out. Being black and working in corporate America and being ostracized and hating my job, and this came out.
Yeah.
And I wrote, and that was part one, so that worked. And I hated the job so much, I was still there on my second album, Server Crash, and wrote a part two to that shit.
Yeah, they're still there, man.
I was right. They like, you still there, dude? The tech support not help them. Said, look, man, it doesn't work like that. Just because you put out an album don't mean it's gonna be number one. You know, it don't.
That's your Superman lover track. Like,
right. Superman love.
So yeah, man, I noticed too, man, your catalog, and we'll wrap it up here in a little bit. But your catalog, a lot of your projects and your joints in general is all. It's a total project where everything kind of runs together. You know what I'm saying? Everything's themed out when you do your music.
Yeah.
Child of the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Same thing like that.
Right.
When you initially put these type of projects together, even on the production level, is that always your initial thought? Like, I want the whole body of work to line up with the title kind of thing?
It's a good question. Tech support was definitely like that. So tech support, I just wanted people to know how much of a nerd I was. Yeah. I wanted you to know everything, every game I loved, every anime I watched, the stuff that I grew up with. It was, I was gonna let you know, but bar that shit out.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did. You know, I went through, made SDF1 because I found a producer, Rukanetsu, on SoundCloud who made the beat, and he didn't have no rhyme. He just had the beat out. I was like, nobody's doing nothing with this shit. I said, well, let me. Yeah. And right now, it's the most played track out of my whole catalog. Still 5 years later. Yeah. Yeah. On SoundCloud, and I did that. You know, I just took it like, when you go through beats, you're like, well, what characters does this make me feel like? Alter egos for the Incredible Hulk. Yeah. I wanted to talk about all the things that lined in that nerdy culture on that album. And Server Crash Part 1 wasn't like that. That was more like, let me dig. You know, I did this, and I had a talk with Rex, and he was like, yo, you got to dig more into that, who you are. Yeah, yeah. And he actually inspired me to write Server Crash Part 1 in realer tracks like Warpath. Yeah, yeah. A Warhorn, excuse me, is about problems with alcoholism, and that whole album is mostly about real shit. Yeah, yeah. The Tron album, obviously, the Bits and Bytes EP, we know what that's about. That's Tron all the way. So that was funny to do. And Child of the 80s, it's 80s theme, so it's not going to be every beat on there is not going to be an 80s style beat. However, the theme of it is more so kind of that fun, and an album is a whole bunch of different things. Yeah, yeah. But just telling you how I grew up. So yeah. That's where I wanted to go with it. And when I sit down and I listen to it, and we all listen to it, I think you're gonna agree with me that I caught that and I made it work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I definitely can't wait, man. Yeah. Whenever it's done and wrapped up, we'll come back and we'll do a listening sessions live. Hopefully we can get the crew together. Yeah. And just chop it up and talk about that joint. Yeah. Social media, man. What's the best way we can get a hold of you? Word up. So you can reach me for now anyway, until I get the redesigned TekForce Central site or Light Cycle ANT site or whatever it's going to be up. You can hit me up on Facebook. TekForce Lives, I think, is on there. You can hit me up on Instagram at TekForce. Twitter is at TekForce Rises because I want to do some Batman shit for some reason. I'm on TikTok. I don't know why I'm on there, but it's at TekForce.
Because you want them to tap into your music, that's why.
Man, I'm so bad at TikTok. I can't do none of them dances, man. Just go listen to TekForce and I walk off the screen.
There you go.
I'm not too popular.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you can find me on most of those. You can find my music on TekForce1.bandcamp.com. All streaming services, Spotify, whatnot, might change in the future. I'm thinking about might not be in all those places, but for now, you can find the albums on there, man. Check me out.
There we go, man. The homie TekForce joining us here, man. And like I said, brother, you know, definitely not the last time, man. You'll see us. You're going to always see us together at the hip doing something together, man.
Yes, it's my brother right here, man. So shout out to DJ Kawan because that guy right here does the best interviews. He mixes the best music. Go listen to the Mixtape Show because this dude is that dude. And in a minute here, he's going to be in a spot that y'all can't even catch him. So just try to catch him now.
Catch me now.
Try to get an interview now because in a minute, you have to talk to 3 different secretaries, 4 assistants.
You got to sign paperwork after that.
Sign paperwork before you even get a conversation with him.
On my Joe Rogan.
Right.
Joe Rogan.
You're going to have to sign that paperwork before you even say nothing.
Definitely, man.
Yeah,
man. It's always a pleasure, my brother.
Word
you know
up.
what I'm saying? And we're going to get into some of his joints here during this interview, after this interview.
Yeah.
And it's always fun.
The Mixtape Show?